Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my woofing experience in Hawaii, my stay at Kanekiki Farm, which is a raw vegan farm, and I've been here for about 5 months. I'm leaving in a week. It's a farm where health is very high focus. A lot of the teachings is based off of the book 80-10-10 by Douglas Graham. People on the farm like to promote eating a raw food diet as long as you're here, and then once you're off the farm, say if you're in town or you're visiting somebody or if you're off an event, you're totally allowed to eat whatever cooked food that you would like. In my opinion, I really enjoy that because I like to be around like-minded people who are very passionate about a raw food diet. I don't really see it as very restrictive because there's so many other farms that allow you to eat whatever you would like. And I like how there's such a huge support system here for eating a raw food diet. So I like that these regulations were made. And the fat percentages eating here could be as high or low as you want. I've seen some people eat really low fat. Me myself, I've been eating like definitely not 80-10-10. I tend to eat a little bit higher fat. I've been eating like an avocado or two a day here. I have friends who like pound the avocados. So it's whatever makes you feel healthy and happy about what you want to eat. So it's not like, oh, you have to follow the ratio of 80-10-10. It's just they hope that you read the book. I know a lot of people actually haven't, but it's a wide variety of people are here. Some people who just discovered a plant-based diet and they're kind of testing it out. Some people who've been on this boat for a long time, myself included. I've been eating a plant-based diet high raw plant-based diet for about 7 years, so eating this way is not so much of a challenge, but I still enjoy being around other people who are pumped up about it or who have even more experience or who I could help out. So it is discouraged here to eat like processed food, salty food. Yeah. There's also been discussion about possibly changing that rule and allowing people to eat cooked food on the farm. I would be promoting it either way. I think they could be done very well if people who are more just curious about a whole food plant-based diet, that specifically, I think that could be a very good thing because like cooked foods aren't necessarily bad. I think raw foods are fantastic for healing, and I think some people really want to excel in health and just eat that way all the time. Everybody could just celebrate a vegan diet would go very well here. So specifically, Kanekiki Farm is fantastic. I find it to be a very clean place. We try to, on a weekly basis, do just a thorough clean down, and then as a community we discuss on a weekly basis of what needs to be taken care of correctly. We have Monday meetings where we talk about, okay, like this, and this needs a little bit more focus. We have great showers. One of it's a private shower, and there's some other ones that are more public showers. And I love the rocks that are around it. I find it to be very beautiful. And the water is warmed from solar panel, and it's also warmed from when we're using the wood burner stove. Yeah, so it's a efficient system, and I find that for the most time the water is warm. There has been a few times where water has been cold, but that's been usually when it's been really cloudy or when we're not using the stove to warm up the water supply. The sinks, there's some filters. I believe there's 5 filters that the water has to go through, and it's in a drip catchment system, so it's caught through rainwater. And the sinks, so there's some sinks that you could wash your toothbrush in if you're using the filter, but there's some other sinks, like the back sink, and then like the sink that's by the showers that you can't really drink because it's not filtered enough, and I wouldn't risk it. We have a clothesline that you could put your stuff in. There's huts. There's a good amount of huts here to fit a decent amount of people. I think upward to about like 20 is like the comfortable level. I tend to prefer more of the smaller groups. But there's plenty of huts and they're very cozy. I really enjoy my hut. I am in what is called the bamboo hut. I find that there's a lot of room here. I put some lights up. I put some rainbow tie flags, so it's a very beautiful. So I tend to like to decorate where I'm at. And I was living with a really good friend here at the time, and we still had plenty of room. When I first got here, I went to the long, I think 7 people could fit, I believe, in the long hut. And I was still very, very comfortable there. It's pretty big hut. We also have the outdoor kitchen, which I really enjoy. While I was here, I spent time doing an internship where I painted the mural which says eat from the vine, feel divine, and it's very colorful and it has all this fruit on it, and I really enjoyed it. Also get to pick my own projects. I've been painting a lot here because that's what I requested. I requested that I would be painting a lot. Bill, Bobby, and Vicky, which are kind of in charge of putting you where is best suited for you, and finances and transportation and maintenance of the farm. They're very good at like listening and communicating properly using nonviolent communication to make sure that you're comfortable and that you're doing what you actually want to do and you're getting enough resources. So they're very good people, very down to earth. I really appreciate them, and I think they do a fantastic job at what they love to do. So the outdoor kitchen is really clean. I like that we have a lot of appliances, kitchen appliances that we could use. We have our blenders, Vitamix blenders. We got food processor. We got juicers. We have a lot of cutting boards and knives and forks, utensils and bowls, and it's all like nice quality too. So not only does it look good for photos, but it is good quality as well. And I just like knowing that I have everything that I need there. And I really enjoy about the outdoor kitchen that I'm able to just be surrounded by the garden. If I really wanted to have like a lemon, for example, I could just go out and pick it, or a pepper or an herb. It's right there for me to grab. And I love that I'm able to just be engulfed in nature while being outside. It's not like there's like a wall that's separating us. So at times, like, maybe somebody wouldn't like that because like there's like bunch of spiders in the kitchen or geckos, but you just got to be cautious of where those kind of critters are, and if you are, then it's gonna be fine. I kind of like it, and it keeps you company, these little critters. You just gotta make, there's certain rules that are set to make sure that the kitchen is clean, like to make sure that there's not food left up on the counter or dishes in the sink, because rats could get up there and develop a habit of coming into the kitchen and eating food, and that's when things tend to get into trouble. But Kanekiki does a really good job at making sure that everybody follows those rules, I think, personally. Like, yeah, there's some hiccups, but it's constantly brought up like week after week in a non-monotone fashion about, hey, everybody, make sure we're clean because we don't want that problem. Another spot on the farm that I really enjoy is the community room. It's a spot to just chill and hang out. There's Wi-Fi, and that's where I usually go when I want to work on my stuff. A lot of people like to work out here, do yoga. Me and Katie like to do some HIIT workouts there. There's a big mirror, and we sometimes watch movies in there. It's a good spot for reading. It's a good spot to be when it's too hot, when there's too many mosquitoes. Yeah, so there's also a spot just to go to besides your hut that you want to just relax with your community. We play games in there. We have what we call speakeasies, where every Thursday night we get together and play games and just get to know each other a little bit better. We have like motivational discussions to encourage each other to reach their goals. We have discussions about eating like a raw food diet or even just a healthy vegan diet. In the community room, sometimes the kitchen, it's all over the board. So the community room is just overall really well for meeting and getting together, or just a lot of the times I'm there and nobody's talking to each other, we're just chilling, and that's kind of a nice feeling to be within community. Everybody's relaxing at the same time. I have the coconut bar, which I have grown to be really fond of. It's where we crack our coconuts. So a lot of the coconuts that we harvest here, we could just crack it ourselves and eat the flesh and drink the milk. Drink the water. And my favorite are the Thai coconuts, which are so good. When I first got here, my machete usage wasn't that great. My aim was off balance, and I don't think I was as strong, but I've gained a lot of confidence and coordination and strength since I've been here. So my coconut cutting abilities have gone up, have improved for sure. My favorite thing about Kanekiki is the high quality fruits. I love the fruit here, especially the avocados. Like, there's not so many times. There's been a good amount of times where I've ran out of food, but I'm like, well, I guess I could just, if I really want to, I could just go and find the thing and then brine it and then I'm good to go. It's nice to know that at least there's a supply of food here, and that you're not going to starve. But I wouldn't rely on harvesting if you do come here. That's not encouraged because you're taking away from the whole entire community if you're just eating that. Plus, it's a little bit more riskier because you may get lazy of the brining and like you could get sick. I love the avocados. They're so creamy. Like, Hawaiian avocados and papayas and pineapple, like Rollinia, soursop, mame sapote, lilikoi. The oranges here are just thebomb.com. They're so good and juicy and creamy, and like it's definitely over the moon, better than what I've tasted back on the mainland, and I'm really gonna miss that probably the most, is just eating such high quality, delicious fruit that's at my fingertips here, and that I can almost get whenever I want. Of course, there's fluctuations in seasons and all of that jazz, but there's some good stuff on the mainland that I'm looking forward to, like apples and pears and peaches and nectarines and plums and melons. But the high quality fruit in itself, I feel like, is worth coming to check out. So I'd like to talk about the things that would indicate if Kanekiki is good for you. And I think the first thing that Kanekiki seemed interesting to me, I heard about it through the WWOOF'ing website. I knew I wanted to WWOOF somewhere in Hawaii. I saw that it was a raw vegan focused farm, and that got me really excited because I've always, well not always, but for the past 7 years I've been very passionate about a raw food diet. So I really want to be surrounded by those like-minded people and just be in the tropics. That's been a long-term goal of mine, is to live a period of my life in the tropics, and I feel like this was a perfect amount of time to have me think about if I wanted to move here permanently or to at least feel satiated that I did this. So I think it's good for people who just want to be around other like-minded people who are really passionate about health and fruit and 80-10-10 and healing themselves. I would also say if you're somebody who's curious about a vegan diet and you want a good support group, this is a very good place to be. There's plenty of people here who's like, oh, you know, I've been vegan for about a year and I've been on and off and I really just want to see if I could do it. Or I really want to dedicate myself to this, but like it's so hard at home. I think coming here is a great idea because you see how easy it is for everybody else, and then you develop these patterns where you realize it's really easy for you, and you get a lot of advice and recipes over the period of time, and it's really good for building up confidence within yourself that you could carry these habits on back home. Another reason why I came here is I wanted to dedicate some creative space to myself. So when I saved quite a bit of money before I came here. I worked like 7 days out of the week at one point for a stretched period of time, and I was really like exhausted of just working every single day. It is, needless to say, it was jobs I really did like. I worked at a health food store and I worked at the farmer's market selling fruit, which I love. I'm really glad that those were my jobs, and I'm gonna go back to selling fruit, but I really wanted to make money independently, and I'm still working on that, but I definitely have utilized the time here to catapult that even further, my business, Fruitforia, to be able to take money off of it long term. So being here, I got lots of inspiration, not only from the beautiful environment and our travels that we would do over the weekend or on occasion, but my friends. They would have great ideas, or maybe they had made money online before too. Just getting healthier in general, which is so easy to do here, I feel like really puts you on a track for where you want to be in life and feeling aligned. If you also like to work with agriculture, permaculture, horticulture, plants, if you like to work with plants, I think this is also a very good place for you to check out, maybe if you have an interest in tropical plants. I do have to say, here is in Hawaii, it's maybe not the best location to grow greens. You could do it though in a greenhouse, but with rat lung, it's not the main focus because it's like the slugs to get in between the leaves, and it's just risky if you were to eat that. So that was my experience at Kanekiki. I do hope to eventually come back here, maybe to work and help them out with some of their projects. I feel very satisfied within myself that I decided to come here, and I feel like I went through a lot of positive transformation. I gained a lot more confidence within myself. Like, my fear of heights has gone down because I've been on ladders, like high ladders, this entire time. I learned how to use a weed whacker, how to use a chainsaw, how to take apart the chainsaw. I had the opportunity to learn how to climb a coconut tree, but I'm still working up to that one, working on the ladders and then the coconut tree. But there's plenty of people here who learned how to climb a coconut tree using a platform and shimmying their way up. I learned how to do aerial silks and so many things. My fitness level has gone up. I feel like my confidence talking to people one-on-one and just having the courage to really be as creative as I possibly can and express myself in a much more efficient way. I learned a lot about nonviolent communication thanks to Katie and Vicky. Yeah, there's so many things that I can't even cover in this video that I've learned and that I really got out of. If I had a rewind time and I knew everything that would happen, I would totally do it again. And I think if you fall within that category of like what I've talked about a couple of minutes ago, then I think it would be definitely something worth checking out. It feels like a very safe environment. They try really hard to make sure that you're comfortable. It's very different than a lot of other places that you could be woofing around here where there's like a no drug policy and people could be just out of their minds, and maybe you would feel a little bit intimidated about that. So I personally enjoy that there's a no drug policy, that a vegan diet is like the standard here, and I feel like it's just a perfect environment for me, for people to grow and like learn from each other and just have positive influence upon each other instead of feeding each other's like addictions and negative energy and hurt, and just not saying it's not possible to grow. You're always growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So it's, no matter where you are, you're probably learning something. But I feel like this place for me was a very good spot, a very fertile spot for personal development to grow very quickly. I made many new friends here. I would even say like lifelong friends that I know that I'm going to see again at the Woodstock Fruit Festival if I ever decide to go to another country, if they ever come and visit through my way. It's just nice to know that you have friends all over the world. This farm has a very diverse group of people. We have people from Colombia, from Switzerland, from Poland, from Germany, from all over the US, from Canada. There's a pretty wide group, and I enjoy that diversity and just hearing about the different cultures and yeah, like all the different points of view. So I enjoy that when I want to go out, I have a group of friends to go out with. It could be a little bit tempting to like constantly go out and socialize at like a really high level because somebody always wants to do something, but you'll soon learn that there's time where you have to be by yourself and just rest and kind of recharge your batteries if you're maybe a little bit more of an introverted person. It's kind of nice to know that somebody's always going to want to go camping or like check out a volcano or check out a waterfall or check out a place to eat. That was my specifically Kanekiki experience. So here are 5 things that I also want to talk about woofing in Hawaii in general that I think you should be aware of before you decide to come here. Number 1 is transportation. If you're not bringing your own car over, which I think most people would not bring their own car over, getting around can be sometimes kind of difficult. When I first got here, I got really lucky, and a girl on the farm, she had a car, and we went to Kona, which is on the west side of the island. We had a good time. We were able to go in town more than what we do now. But if you're somebody who kind of likes to stay on the farm or work on your own thing, that may not be that big of a deal. Also, Bobby, Bill, and Vicky sometimes drives us around too. We get also a ride when we go to the market every Sunday to resupply on what we need. So the basics are definitely, for Kanekiki, are set. Anything more than that, then it can sometimes be a little tricky. You may have to hitch, and I definitely don't recommend hitching by yourself. If you do decide to do it, make sure you're with at least one other person. It helps to be with if you're with a guy. Probably have to get to a point where you're gonna have to rely on public transportation or hitching. I would recommend trying to find a way to get a bike. That's also a very efficient way to get around. For number 2 is the location and the seasons here. So depending on which part of the island you're on, it could vary quite a bit. I am on the east side of the island where it's the most volcano-y, there's black sand beaches, and it rains here quite a bit, especially during the rainy season, believe it or not. That's when I came here, and I'm leaving actually right when the rainy season went to an end. But I hear that during the summertime it's like mostly blue skies. So if you're gonna come like during the summer, mind you that yes, you're gonna get mostly blue skies and it'll be fantastic, but also there may be it'll be more dry, so water shortage is a thing. So people I've heard who've come during the summer that I've met in this season said that they've had to take like really quick showers, or only shower when they really like needed to, simply because there's not enough water. Here right now there's an abundance of water, but it's sometimes not going to be really warm water. If you're going to be like on the upper side of if you're going to be on the northern part of the island, I know that it could be a little bit cooler. If you're going to be on the west side of the island, it tends to be a little bit more sunny. And then like in the Hilo, Puna district area, it could be rainier. Number 3 would be aware of how much money you're going to be using here. Things are a bit more expensive. If you're not on something like food stamps, it may be a little bit more of a struggle, so make sure that you're budgeting properly. I would also look into food stamps. You would be surprised that you may possibly qualify for them. Number 4, make sure you know the agreement with your farm. So with Kanekiki specifically, you agree that you're going to eat vegan while you're here, you agree that you're going to stay raw when you're on the farm, and that you could eat cooked when you're off the farm. You're going to agree to work so many hours during the day. So look into it. Like, there's plenty of farms that do not mind what you eat. They do not mind if you do drugs. There's so many different arrays of colors of places that you could stay at. Just make sure that you're getting into something that you actually want to do with that period of time, and the time period could range as short as like within a couple of weeks to like a year. And number 5 is be aware that you're going to spend a lot of times outdoors. Even in this hut, half of it is screened, so when it rains, I feel my damp sheets in the morning. Sometimes I can even feel the rain as it's pouring down, and I have to poop in a compost toilet, which I really like. I prefer it. And there's mosquitoes and spiders everywhere, and I've definitely come across boar a couple times, which could be a bit dangerous, but usually they're not going to harm you. Yeah, the weather here changes, and it is kind of nice. Like, going into town kind of gives you that civilization break where you're able to feel not sophisticated, but yeah, where you kind of feel like a little bit more civiled. I like having this kind of balance where I'm mostly in nature and then occasionally go into town or a city and just get my dose of civilization and then come back again. But if you're not like into camping, or if you feel like you're kind of like a house cat, if you really like the city, I think that it may be a little bit more of a challenge for you, but I don't think that's a reason for you not to try out woofing in Hawaii, because I think it would be a really good opportunity for growth to see if this is something that you would actually really enjoy, is being in nature and working on the land and harvesting fruit. Also keep in mind that some other farms, it may be a lot more indoorsy. They may have like an entire solidified house for you to stay in, or it may be closer to a town. Staying right now is off-grid, so that means that we're using solar power, that means we're using a compost toilet, that we're not like fully relying on what cities are relying on. Okay, so that is it. My little review on my stay here at Kanekiki Farm and what I think about would be useful to know if you wanted to try woofing in Hawaii. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you maybe have your own opinion about woofing, or if you've done woofing in the past. I would love to know where you've gone to, or if you want to come here to Kanekiki, or if you had a positive and negative experience. I would love to hear it all. I sell my artwork, and I also offer one-on-one coaching if you are interested. So go out into the world, have fun, and be in nature. It's very healing. Ciao. I'll see you next video.